Barron Trump isn't the shy little boy the world once saw during his father's presidency. Today, he's 18, starting his college life at NU, and suddenly everyone's asking questions about the most private member of the Trump family. Is he dating? What's his love life like? For years, Barron stayed out of the spotlight. But Eric Trump just made a statement that's got everyone talking, and it's all summed up in 3 simple, unforgettable words. What did Eric mean? And why is he warning Barron to be careful? Stick around until the end of this video and you'll get the full picture, including an intriguing story involving a viral TikTok claim about Barron's alleged first girlfriend. Trust me, you don't want to miss what Eric said, why it matters, and the ripple effects it's already causing. Curious? You're about to find out, step by step. Stay tuned, because there's a lot more to Barron's dating life and the attention it's drawing than meets the eye. For most of Barron's life, he's been somewhat of a mystery. While his siblings have taken the stage in business, politics, or media, Barron stayed out of the spotlight almost entirely. During his father's presidency, he rarely appeared at public events. Even his high school years were marked by an unusual level of privacy, despite being part of one of the most talked about families in the world. But now, things are changing. At 18, Barron is stepping into a new chapter college life at New York University. For many, this transition is a time of independence and new experiences. For Barron, it's a little more complicated. Being the youngest son of a former president brings more than just academic pressure. People are fascinated by his life, especially the part he's been the most private about, his relationships. And it's not just the public asking questions. Even former President Trump himself has faced queries about Barron's dating life. His answers, though, are vague. In fact, when asked recently if Barron is good with the ladies, Donald sidestepped the question entirely, saying, "I don't think he's there yet." But is that really the case? Eric Trump seems to think differently. His recent remarks suggest there's much more attention on Barron's love life than anyone realizes, and it comes with its own set of challenges. But before we get into Eric's jaw-dropping comments, let's take a closer look at why Barron's transition to adulthood has captured so much attention. And remember, stick around till the end for that viral TikTok story that's got people questioning everything they thought they knew about Barron's past relationships. As Barron Trump's life takes a more public turn, one question keeps popping up: is he dating? The curiosity isn't surprising after all. Barron is young, wealthy, and now living in one of the most vibrant cities in the world. Naturally, people want to know if the youngest Trump is stepping into the dating scene or staying focused on other things. Donald Trump himself has been asked about this a few times, but his responses have been more cautious than revealing. When pressed about whether Barron has a girlfriend, Donald simply stated, "I don't think he's had a girlfriend yet." Not exactly a headline-grabbing answer, but it does raise some interesting questions. Does Barron prefer to keep his personal life under wraps? Or is he still navigating what it means to live as a high-profile individual in a world where even small details of his life can become national news? Whatever the case, the lack of concrete answers has only fueled the speculation. But here's where things get even more interesting. Eric Trump decided to chime in. While Donald played it safe, Eric gave the world a peek into what he thinks about Barron's situation, and let's just say, it's not the kind of attention most 18-year-olds deal with. Eric's 3 words about Barron's love life carry a lot of weight, and they come with some advice that's as protective as it is intriguing. We're about to get into what Eric said and why it's such a big deal. And don't forget, there's still that viral TikTok claim about Barron's alleged past relationship, which might just change how you see the youngest Trump entirely. Keep watching, it's only getting more compelling from here. While Donald Trump kept things vague, Eric Trump didn't hold back when discussing his youngest brother's dating life. In an October interview with the Daily Mail, Eric described Barron with just 3 unforgettable words: most watched Bachelor. Think about that for a moment. Eric isn't just talking about regular attention, he's saying that Barron's every move in the dating world will be under scrutiny. And it's not just because of who he is, it's also the timing. As Eric pointed out, the spotlight on Barron is brighter than ever, especially with the possibility of their father's political comeback looming large. Eric even reflected on his own experiences as a young Trump. He admitted to receiving a fair amount of attention during his bachelor days, but noted that it's nothing compared to what Barron will face. According to Eric, the combination of Barron's youth, fame, and current circumstances means that the pressure and interest will be on a completely different level. But Eric didn't stop there. He offered his younger brother some simple but meaningful advice: just be careful. It's a warning that speaks volumes. From navigating relationships under a microscope to dealing with people who might have ulterior motives, Barron's dating life won't be like that of a typical college freshman. What's fascinating here is that Eric's comments are both protective and realistic. On one hand, he acknowledges the intense scrutiny Barron will face. On the other, he seems to have confidence in Barron's ability to handle it, describing him as a great kid and smart. But even with that praise, there's an underlying concern in Eric's words, a concern that shows just how different Barron's world is from most people his age. And as we dig deeper, there's one more layer to this story, a viral TikTok that's raised eyebrows about Barron's love life. But before we get to that, let's unpack what Eric's advice really means for Barron as he steps into adulthood. Stay with me, it's about to get even more interesting. Eric Trump's warning to be careful might seem like simple advice, but in Barron's case, it's far from ordinary. It's a reminder of the unique challenges that come with being in the spotlight. Unlike most college freshmen, Barron can't casually date or build relationships without the possibility of headlines, social media rumors, or even people trying to take advantage of his family name. Eric's choice of words also suggests a deeper understanding of how public scrutiny works. With cameras, gossip columns, and TikTok sleuths constantly looking for a story, even Barron's most personal moments could become public in an instant. Relationships, in particular, are tricky in this environment. Every gesture, every comment, and every rumored connection could be magnified into a viral story, true or not. It's worth noting that Eric's advice isn't just about being cautious, it's also about preparation. Barron is entering a world where trust takes on a whole new meaning. The line between genuine interest and opportunism can blur when fame and wealth are involved. For someone as private as Barron, that's a lot to navigate, especially at such a young age. At the same time, Eric's protective tone speaks to their bond as siblings. He's not just throwing advice out there for the sake of it. He sees the potential pitfalls and wants Barron to avoid the kinds of mistakes that could lead to public embarrassment or worse, heartbreak. But what does this caution mean for Barron's current love life? Is he following Eric's advice and steering clear of dating altogether, or is he quietly exploring relationships away from the public eye? The answer isn't clear, but there's one story that might give us a clue. Remember that TikTok we teased earlier? A young woman claims she was Barron's first girlfriend, and the details she shared are raising some serious questions. If you're curious about what she said and whether her story checks out, you're going to want to stick around for the next section. It's where things take an unexpected turn. Here's where the story takes an intriguing twist of viral TikTok that claims to reveal Barron Trump's first ever girlfriend. A TikToker named Maddie posted a video alleging that she and Barron were classmates, and more shockingly, that he was her very first boyfriend. In the video, Maddie included class photos featuring herself and Barron, along with a picture of her posing with none other than Donald Trump. The post instantly sparked a firestorm of speculation. Was this the first glimpse into Barron's love life? Or was it just another internet rumor blown out of proportion? What makes this even more fascinating is the timing. Barron has always been private, rarely making public appearances or engaging with social media. For someone like him, who's built a reputation for staying under the radar, Maddie's claim was a rare peek behind the curtain. Of course, not everyone is convinced. Skeptics have pointed out that while the photos prove they were classmates, they don't necessarily confirm a romantic relationship. But Maddie's confidence in sharing the story, paired with her evidence, has left people wondering if there's more to it than meets the eye. Whether the claim is true or not, it's a reminder of just how closely people are watching Barron now that he's 18 and living on his own. Even a simple classmate's anecdote can turn into a viral sensation, proving Eric Trump's point about the intense scrutiny his brother faces. So where does this leave Barron? Is he still single, cautiously following Eric's advice, or has he managed to navigate the dating world in complete secrecy? One thing's for sure, this story has only added fuel to the fascination surrounding Barron's life, and the final chapter of this tale is still unwritten. But before we wrap things up, let's take a moment to reflect on what all this attention means for Barron and what his future might look like. Keep watching, you won't want to miss the conclusion. So after all the speculation, the TikTok rumors, and Eric's telling comments, one big question remains: what does the future hold for Barron Trump? At just 18, he's stepping into adulthood with the kind of spotlight most of us can't imagine. Whether it's his college life, friendships, or potential relationships, everything about him seems destined to grab headlines. Eric's words, "most watched bachelor," perfectly capture the reality Barron faces. It's not just about finding love or making friends. For Barron, every interaction has the potential to be scrutinized, discussed, and debated by the world. And yet, there's a silver lining. Barron's quiet and thoughtful approach to life suggests he's taking things at his own pace, no matter what the world expects of him. In some ways, Barron's situation could pave the way for a different kind of public figure. Someone who values privacy in an era where everything is on display. Someone who chooses authenticity over spectacle. And maybe that's why Eric's advice feels so meaningful. Be careful isn't just about avoiding pitfalls, it's about staying true to himself in the face of unimaginable pressure. Now, as for his dating life, well, that's a story only Barron knows the full truth about. Whether he's single, dating, or simply focused on college, one thing is certain, people will continue to watch and wonder. But here's the twist, instead of just watching from the sidelines, what if you could shape the conversation? If you've got thoughts on Barron's unique position or Eric's advice, don't keep them to yourself. Drop them in the comments below. Who knows, your perspective could spark a whole new discussion. And before you go, here's a challenge. Share this video with someone who loves a good behind-the-scenes story about high-profile families. You never know, they might just see Barron Trump in a completely different light.